Hello,
Hi,
and welcome to Drifting Apart.
growing apart for some of you. And
Drifting, growing.
yeah, the same. You know what? It is
It's
a
not
drift.
really the same thing. It's a drift.
It is a drift. And it's a drift because well, we'll just get into that here in a second.
It's a drift. We're gonna we're gonna talk a little bit and then we're gonna discuss.
Yeah,
Okay. Um, I think it really is the silent relationship killer. It's the beginning of what could be the end.
it's yeah,
It
yeah,
really
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Um, why do couples grow apart, right? There's so many different reasons why, right?
Yeah.
Um, Finances, um, e-
Cheating,
cheating,
trust issues.
trust issues, emotional distance,
What about self uh, uh, rejection,
self-rejection,
self-abandonment, self-betrayal? Do those play factors in
mind lies,
my thinking problems?
thinking problems, living parallel lives, right? So just existing next to each other.
Yep.
Um, but they're on their phone, you're on your phone. You got a remote in your hand. Now listen, let's talk just real quick. It's fine if you're together, right? And you take some wind down time to be in your phones for a short amount of time while you're together, winding down for the night, whether it's watching your favorite show or listening to music or whatever it is you do when you wind down at night. And there might be an hour for you both to go through your phones, play a game or whatever. But there, I feel that there should be a unspoken restrain on that a little bit. But we're going to get into all that. Um, but yeah,
Well, Lee and Sherry, have you two ever been through growing apart?
yeah, we can talk about that too. Avoiding conflict is big when you're growing apart. Avoiding conflict because it's silence is
Who, me? Avoid
silence
conflict?
replaces argument.
Who, me?
And
What?
when people are growing apart, silence just replaces the argument. And it's sometimes not the argument's just not worth it if you're in that space of where you're drifting apart from one another. Like, you know what? I'm not even gonna engage in his shenanigans. It is what it is. Those things happen. Lack of curiosity
Yep.
of what's happening in that other person's life or lack of care.
Well, sometimes lack of care can also be you're so focused on them
Hmm.
that they're trying to focus on you, but you don't have any focus
Hmm.
on you for them to see that. So
Yeah.
that kind of starts to pull you apart too.
You just no longer talk about each other's day. You don't talk about each other's dreams anymore. You guys don't dream together. And
How about your feelings for each other?
right,
How do you continue the conversation of feelings, and how do you take feelings deeper?
right.
Why isn't that what if that was there when growing apart happened? I guess it really we'll get into that a
Yeah.
whole lot with the
Yeah.
discussion, but
Yeah.
if you look at some of the things that cause that
Yeah.
is a lot of things that you've had relationships before where they just didn't connect or or past relationships are showing up that's causing that growing apart thing.
Why does it happen? We'll tell you. What is called it's called autopilot, right? It's your day-to-day routine, right? Just like you don't need conscious thought to get up in the morning, use the restroom, come into the kitchen, make a cup of coffee. You have to use this. It's routine.
You feel all it.
Yeah, you
You
just
feel
you
you went
just
through.
go about your day. And it really puts a rift, right? I feel it does. Resentment, unresolved resentment, even the littlest, tiniest pea size unresolved resentment, right, will grow and grow and grow into a big plant. And then, small hurts turn into big walls.
Large. And then over a period of time, resentment builds up because there was no communication. Um, all of these factors all come
Mhm.
into play when it comes to what's growing you apart. Now, some of those, I mean, they're all deeply rooted and
Mhm.
deeply buried, of course, in bigger things. But we want to be able to really talk or how you can communicate through it so you don't grow apart.
Mhm.
So we're really going to deep dive into that
Uh,
more so.
like some people just life stages
Yeah.
mismatch, right? Like I wanted kids, he didn't want kids, so he doesn't help with the kids. Or it's the 1950s in his mind or her mind, right? And I clean the house and make dinner, and he or she goes to work, and that's just the way we live our lives. But I'm overflowing with creativity, and I want to just be me, but I feel, what is the word? I feel,
You have a role to play.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
So
that's
that happens.
growing apart. That's one of the big causes we've seen
So
of
like
what does
like
that.
plants need water to grow, relationships need water to grow. Your attention is the water to the relationship.
Oh,
Um, there's always so much to do. We're going to get into when we really get into the meat of this.
yeah, and one of the biggest things, like even we ran into, was life stage mismatch. Just at different points, because you start off a different way than you actually when you come together. You kind of have to learn each other's way. It's not like it's already put together.
Right.
So a lot of those things we find cause this growing apart thing. So today we're really going to deep dive into that. And we're really going to make sure that all of that is exactly how we want things to be when it comes to putting the end to growing apart, because it has to come from something
And
or
this
something.
doesn't even need to be relationship based. It could very well be sibling based, parents, right? Family,
Yep.
children, those types of things, right? Growing apart, right?
Because it affects everything.
It affects everything. But we're going to focus a little bit on the relationship aspect of it, right? Growing apart in those relationships that you have, the romantic relationships. And, we talked a little bit about why and how,
Mhm.
right? And with you here shortly, we are going to talk about tools that we can use to close the gap there. Yes, Lee and I have been through bouts of drifting apart. I wouldn't say growing, drifting. And, where it's routine, where the routine gets us,
Yep.
right? And, that part is so easy to fall into, right?
Right.
So, that's a big one. That's a very big one. But we're anxious to hear about you and how you have felt like you've been growing apart in your relationships or relationship, and perhaps there's been a pretty big long separation, right? We've been through those as well, right? So here we are.
Yep.
Um, we will
Stop the video
stop.
here
Yeah, there it is.
and
Stop the video
start
here,
discussing it.
and we'll be right with you.
Yeah.